Om Saksvangritam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namah. Hare Krishna. We will discuss today the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, prayers by Queen Kunti and Parikshit saved. So we will discuss verses 6 to 9 of this chapter today, which is about the Maharaj Parikshit saved in the womb of his mother Uttara. First text 6. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Nam Cheva Narottanam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jamudirayat. Nastrayasya Bhadrasu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavatu Tamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Jaya Yitzvas Pamedashtam Tribir Uttama Kalpakai Tatyasa Pavamam Dikshu Satamanyo Eva Tanot. Right, word for word translation. Jayat Nitva, by performing Asvamedai Jahya. No, it's Asvamedai is a Jahya in which a horse is sacrificed. Tam, him, King Yudhishthir. Tribihi, tree. Uttama, best. Kalpakai, supplied with proper ingredients and performed by able priests. That, Yasa, fame. Pavanam, virtuous. Dikshu, all directions. Satamanyo, Indra, who performed 100 such sacrifices. Eva, like. Atanot, spread. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Lord Sri Krishna caused 3 well-performed Asvamedha Jahyas, horse sacrifices, to be conducted by Maharaj Yudhishthir, and thus caused his virtuous fame to be glorified in all directions, like that of Indra, who had performed 100 such sacrifices. Purport. This is something like the preface to the performance of Asvamedha Jahya by Maharaj Yudhishthir. The comparison of Maharaj Yudhishthir to the King of Heaven is significant. The King of Heaven is thousands and thousands of times greater than Maharaj Yudhishthir in opulence. Yet the fame of Maharaj Yudhishthir was not less. The reason is that Maharaj Yudhishthir was a pure devotee of the Lord, and by his grace only was King Yudhishthir on the level of the King of Heaven, even though he performed only 3 Jahyas, whereas the King of Heaven performed hundreds. That is the prerogative of the devotee of the Lord. The Lord is equal to everyone, but the devotee of the Lord is more glorified because he is always in touch with the All-Great. The sun rays are equally distributed, but still there are some places which are always dark. This is not due to the sun, but to the receptive powers. Similarly, those who are 100% devotees of the Lord get the full-fledged mercy of the Lord, which is always equally distributed everywhere. So the theme here is that the pure devotee attracts the grace of the Lord. those who are 100% devotees of the Lord get the full-fledged mercy of the Lord. So they get 100% of the mercy of the Lord because their receptive power is 100%. Yudhishthira Maharaj was more glorious than Indra because Yudhishthira Maharaj was a pure devotee. Indra not. He's a devotee but not pure. He had a desire to rule over the universe and over the heavens. So that's the material desire. But he wants to do that as a service to Krishna, but he has that desire. Therefore, he's Sakam Bhakta, a devotee with still material desires to fulfill. But Yudhishthira Maharaj had no desires to fulfill. He only wanted to please Krishna. Krishna says also in Bhagavad Gita, Ye yatamam papachamte tamstadev bhajamyam 4:11 Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, yes, I reciprocate according to the surrender of my devotee. And we will hear more about surrender in the next verses. Verse 7. Amantya pandu putram cha sainayoda vasamyuta vaipayana dibir vipai uchitai pratipuchita. Lord Sri Krishna then prepared for his departure. He invited the sons of Pandu after having been worshipped by the Brahmins headed by Srila Vyasadeva. The Lord also reciprocated greetings. So, purport. Apparently, Lord Krishna was a Kshatriya and was not worshipable by the Brahmins. But the Brahmins present here, headed by Srila Vyasadeva, all knew him to be the personality of Godhead, and therefore they worshipped him. The Lord reciprocated the greetings, just to honor the social order that the Kshatriya is obedient to the orders of the Brahmins. Although Lord Krishna was always offered the respect due to the Supreme Lord from all responsible quarters, the Lord never deviated from the customary usages between the four orders of society. The Lord purposely observed all these social customs so that others would follow him in the future. So Lord Krishna is preparing for leaving. The battle of Kurukshetra has been fought. It's finished. All the Deva are cremated and necessary rituals have been done. And he's returning to Dwarka. Of course, Lord Chaitanya means Lord Krishna plays the role of a Kshatriya. And the Kshatriyas are obedient to the Brahmins. The Kshatriyas worship the Brahmins. But here the Brahmins are worshipping Krishna. Because they know Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that, text 7, that's verse 7, now 8. Yantam kritam atir brahmam dvarakam ratamashitah appalebe bidam vantim uttaram bhaya vipalam. As soon as he seated himself on the chariot to start for Dwarka, he saw Uttara hurrying toward him in fear. Translation. All the members of the family of the Pandavas were completely dependent on the protection of the Lord, and therefore the Lord protected all of them in all circumstances. The Lord protects everyone, but one who depends completely upon him is especially looked after by the Lord. The father is more attentive to the little son, who is exclusively dependent on the father. So the Pandavas, they were completely dependent on the protection of the Lord. The Lord protected them in all circumstances. This gives already a hint. We have heard before, Yudhishthira Maharaj was more glorious because he was a pure devotee, he was completely depending on the Lord. And here we see also the Pandavas dependent on the Lord for protection in all circumstances. They had no other protector than Krishna. And we will see that principle in action in the next verse, next 9. Uttaro vacha pai pai mahayogin deva deva jatpate nanyam tva abhayam pashe yantra mrityu parashpam. Uttara said, O Lord of Lords, Lord of the universe, you are the greatest of mystics. Please protect me, for there is no one else who can save me from the clutches of death in this world of duality. Purport. This material world is a world of duality, in contrast with the oneness of the absolute realm. The world of duality is composed of matter and spirit, whereas the absolute world is complete spirit without any tinge of material qualities. In the dual world, everyone is falsely trying to become the master of the world, whereas in the absolute world, the Lord is the absolute Lord, and all others are his absolute servitors. In the world of duality, everyone is envious of all others, and death is inevitable due to the dual existence of matter and spirit. The Lord is the only shelter of fearlessness for the surrendered soul. One cannot save himself from the cruel hands of death in the material world without having surrendered himself at the lotus feet of the Lord. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shnaka Shaksharan-militam yena tasmai Shri-gurave namah Chit-chaitanya-manobhishtam sthapitam yena bhutale svamrupakadanyam dadati svapadantikam Vandeham Shri-yuda padakamalam Shri-om Vaishnavam Shri-rupam Sagajatam Sakanaraganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savaduttam Parjana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganalita Shivishakam Vitam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandha Jatpate Gopesha Gopkakam Tarada Kanta Namastate Tapta Kansana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshvare Vishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamama Ripriye Pancha Kalpta Vishaka Pasan Bevasha Patnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnabhyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vinaya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachari Desatam Srila Prabhupada Ki. So we see here Uttara. Uttara is a pure devotee of Krishna. She's not afraid of death. And Uttara is performing, she will perform great service because she is the mother of Maharaj Parikshit, who is another pure devotee. Because her husband, Abhimanyu, had been killed during the Battle of Kurukshetra. Now she's taking shelter of Krishna. That because Ashvatam had again thrown a Brahmastra. A Brahmastra is a powerful mantra weapon. It can be compared with a nuclear bomb, but it's still different because it will hit its target that and destroy its target without hurting innocent civilians. Thus, more powerful, more precise. But yes, that Krishna is known as the protector of his devotees. And this is one of the topics we find in the Bhagavatam. Oshanam, Krishna's protection. That, and as Uttara points out, you alone can protect us. We are now in this world of duality. Different levels of duality. Duality means our self is different from the body, from the role we play as so-called humans. It's different. That duality means the mind is absorbed in this duality of what's good for the body, what's bad for the body. And by that becomes absorbed in the body. Spiritual education means understanding what's good for the soul, what's bad for the soul. What will entangle the soul? What will free the soul from entanglement in this material world? And Uttara very well knows that only Krishna can save us from the cycle of birth and death. So, but we must surrender to Krishna. That time. So Uttara is praying for protection. And that Krishna will protect us is one of the 6 principles of Saranagati. Saranagati, especially in the Sri Sampradaya, this principle of Saranagati is very much stressed. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur took it also from there. Saranagati has 6 elements. First, one must know what's favorable for pleasing Krishna, for devotional service, for advancement in spiritual life, and what's unfavorable and reject that. And then one must come to the point that Krishna is my only maintainer. And then one realizes Krishna is my only protector. And then one comes to the stage, if one realizes this, one becomes humble. And then one surrenders that. So yes, Uttara is praying for protection. That and Krishna specifically protects his pure devotees, his devotees. But devotees also suffering in this world. Is getting diseased and the body dies. But the Lord protects his devotee. And the most famous story in the Bhagavatam, the most famous pastimes of the Lord protecting his devotee is the pastime of Lord Nrsingadev, protecting Prahlad. Beautiful story, but one may think, oh, but what with Abhimanyu, the father of Maharaj Pariksit? He was killed in the presence of Krishna. What then with our fate? Srila Prabhupada, the God brother, he was from Germany. Sadananda Das, that he later got sannyas also. And he told in Germany during the Second World War, the wives of German soldiers prayed to God, please save our husband. But that's a mistake. God is not our order supplier. This is a misconception of who God is. No one will remain in this world. Everyone will have to leave the body. Every living body will be killed finally by the modes of nature. But a devotee does not pray for this protection. No. The devotee prays for protection against Maya, the illusory energy. That the devotee prays wherever I may have been born. May I have the association of devotees. But, so protection does not only refer to the body. So Krishna, he makes arrangements for his devotees so that they can serve him best and never forget him. That you can read that in the Srila Prabhupada's purport in Bhagavad Gita 9:22. Ananya Sintyantanam Yechna Paripastite Samnitya Vyuktam Yogsemavam. Krishna says, to my unalloyed devotee, he says unalloyed devotee, pure devotee, I protect what my devotee has. And I give him what he needs. Prabhupada explaining the purport. Krishna protects the Krishna consciousness of the devotee. And he gives him what he needs to further advance in devotional service. But sometimes Krishna gives us what we need, not what we want, but what we need to advance in devotional service, to give up our attachment and to become more attached to him. So Krishna makes arrangements for his devotees so that they can serve him best and never forget him. And who are Krishna's devotees? Where the Germans in the Second World War who want to dominate over other demons, they were devotees? No, not. They would not attract Krishna's special protection. They started fighting, but they did not consider whether Krishna wanted their fighting. Arjuna only fought to please Krishna. In the purport of this verse, we read, Lord Krishna gives solace or protection to his surrendered souls. So if we don't surrender to Krishna, what happens? That we surrender to the material energy. Krishna says in the seventh, he makes that clear in the seventh chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Deva yesiguna maya mama maya drachya mami vaye papachate mayam evam tarantate. That so Krishna says this material energy that's mama maya, my material energy. Durajja is very difficult to overcome. But when we surrender to it can goes beyond it. That. So Krishna gives solace to his surrendered devotees. If we don't surrender to Krishna, then we come under the material energy. Someone who has a vague idea of God, is different from the pure devotee of Krishna. But we see Abhimanyu, he got an honorable death, being killed by many Maharatis. That I remember when I was in 2001, I think, in Mayapur, when Tamal Krishna, 2001 or 2002, Tamal Krishna Maharaj got in a car accident from Mayapur to Calcutta, and he left this world. That why does this happen? The Lord knows why this happens. It is his wish. But we don't see the big pictures. Sometimes Krishna takes his devotee away in a certain situation to return to the spiritual world, or can take him away to serve in another place. But as long as we are in this material world, we are afraid of death. And the only solution is to go to the world of deathlessness. And that is only possible when we get free of our envy that caused us to enter the material world. That's the cause we are here, envy of Krishna. Therefore, we enter the world of death. So we are very much attached to our position in this material world. I think last time I told the story of Indra. Indra, who displeased the spiritual master. And he was cursed to become a pig for 1 year. And he was on the earth, a pig, and he had a family, and he had children. And when Lord Brahma came, after 1 year, requesting Indra, give up this body, we expect you in heaven to take up your position again. He said, no, I'm happy that with my pig wife, with my children. That's so even Indra experienced this Maya, this illusory energy. But those who are intelligent, they want to be free from this fear of death. But people see only the moment. They don't see the big picture. We all have to die. Making preparations for this is intelligent. What we do in this life will affect us after death. And the Vedic tradition explains what is happening after death. I remember my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Maharaj, he was in Switzerland at a conference with many faiths. And the topic of the conference was what happens after death. But there were Buddhist, Christians, Muslims, so many faiths. But only Bhakti Maharaj could explain what happens after death. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita, so many verses. Yam yam vapiswamam teantan te kalevam tantamavit kantya sazad bhava bhavatyam. Whatever consciousness you have at the time of death, that you will attain again. It's explained in Bhagavad Gita that the body is like a dress for the soul, and death is just throwing away the old clothes and take a new dress. And it's explained in the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. One who cultivates a mode of goodness in his life, he can go up to the heavenly planets. One who cultivates the mode of passion takes birth on the earthly planets. One who cultivates madness will get madness in his next life, go down to the lower planets. Ignorance. So what we do in this life shapes our destination in the next. And the Vedas explain in detail all these destinations. Different kinds of consciousness at the time of death, different destinations. The consciousness of material piety brings you to heaven. That consciousness of sense gratification and sexual attraction brings you again to the earthly planets or lower. That a consciousness of eating, sleeping, drinking, and whatever brings you to the animal world. Transcendental consciousness brings you out of this material world. That devotional consciousness is the only devotional transcendental consciousness only can bring you to the spiritual world. That because it is free from material attachment. It's a consciousness free from lamentation, illusion, and fear. That so this surrender to Krishna. That so this is what we are learning here from all these pure devotees. Krishna reciprocates with our surrender. And if we completely surrender our lives to Krishna and put our destination in his hand, Krishna will take care of it. And that's the conclusion of the Gita. Sarvadam Pishyam Mamkam Sambhatam Sarva Papa Byo Mokshishyasmi Matucha, do not worry, Krishna says. You surrender unto me, and I will take care of you. And we will see how Krishna will reciprocate with Uttara. Because what's our request? Our request is not for her. So what me are concerned, I'm happy to die, no problem. But you protect my embryo. You protect Maharaj Pariksit in the womb. And normally, a Brahmastra cannot be stopped, but not by any material power, not possible. But Krishna is beyond material worlds and will protect Maharaj Pariksit. So, what do we learn from that? We learn that we should approach Krishna for everything, surrender to him in all positions, whatever we do, that always think that I'm not the real doer in this world. Krishna is the doer. I only desire. So we pray to Krishna, if you willing, please, if you so desire, please help me. That because the surrender, you have one must, to come to that serenity, one must first go to the stages before. Stages before is accept what's favorable for Krishna consciousness and reject what's unfavorable, and then depend for our maintenance on Krishna. Our maintenance does not depend on arrangements made by humans. Krishna maintains us. That. And we have examples in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We saw that Shiva's Pandit, he was just doing devotion service, was not depending on any other means for his livelihood. He was just worshipping Krishna. And Krishna, some way or other, maintained him. And yeah, have many other examples in Chaitanya Charitamrita of devotees who were completely surrendered to the Lord. Accepting Krishna as one's own refuge in all circumstances. And it brings us to the point, what's our consciousness behind that? I remember always Bhakti Charamraj saying to me, when I was in great difficulty at that time, he said, accept whatever happens in your life, good as bad, as a mercy of Krishna. A pure devotee does not pray for Krishna for anything. He prays only for pure devotional service, opportunities to serve birth after birth. Does not pray for anything because he understands Krishna is not my order supplier. Whatever I'm going through, Krishna knows already. No need to pray because he's a super soul in our hearts. He brings us in these situations according to our previous karma. And the devotee accepts it. That he does not pray for anything material. He prays only for help in his service to the Lord and protection against Maya. How to pray, we will learn in this chapter. Mother Queen Kunti, she will offer beautiful prayers. But the Bhagavatam is full of prayers. Full of prayers. When Brahma started the creation, he was praying for three things. He was praying for empowerment in his service. He was praying for introspection, so that he always could think of Krishna. He was praying for protection against Maya. And that's the protection the devotee seeks. Protection against the illusory energy. That the devotee wants always to feel Krishna's presence at every moment. He lives in a relationship with Krishna, and he does not want anything to interrupt with that. So where do we take shelter? But that is the question. That if we take shelter into material things, this world, that will not help us. Our only shelter is Krishna. There is no other shelter in this world. And that is what the Pandavas understood. Krishna is my only protector. No. So thank you. Any questions or comments?
Thank you very much, Maharaj, for a wonderful class. Maharaj, you did mention that we should act and accept what is favorable for Krishna. Maharaj, many times in our life and our seva, there are conflicting options come in front of us, or different options come in front of us, like whether we should do project A versus project B. Then how we can decide, which is Krishna's desire?
Yeah, that requires discrimination in the sense what pleases Krishna the most, what gets the priority. That it requires introspection. In such a situation, we pray to Krishna in the heart, please guide me. Guide me. Help me to take the right choice. Give me the intelligence to take the right choice. That and depend on Krishna and whatever comes. Of course, we can also try to find out through the scriptures that through the spiritual master, to consulting senior devotees, and try to find out what's the best to do. It requires introspection and some time. Give Krishna some time. Don't do things impulsive. We may do the wrong thing. That most important is the motive with which we are doing things. Does that help?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah. Yeah. Indra,
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam.
My obeisance, thank you very much.
Maharaj, you told this Maya, although we know this, the some money, all this thing, doing this, or it is Maya for the especially those who are renunciation from the house, like those are temple devotee. Although we know this, we think the Zukti Vairagya, like, oh, it is for Krishna. And we start to accumulate all these things and talking with this Mataji, all these things. And slowly, when Maya slave us, we don't know. And that time, who is slaving Maya? They are thinking, oh, it is maybe Krishna one. That's why I'm going like this. And it's very confusing.
Yes, that's true. Maya is expert. Maya, she knows the tricks. That therefore, a devotee is very austere, and one has to learn to accept what's really necessary for one's maintenance. That live a simple life. Therefore, Rupa Goswami advises in the second verse of Nectar of Instruction, Atyara Payasasya Prajalpaniya Marga. Yeah, so Atyahara. Don't eat more than necessary. Or do not over endeavor for material things when they are not needed. That's Atyara Payasasya. Prajalpa. Don't speak prajalpa. Don't speak about mundane things. Prajalpa means also scrolling on the internet, trying to find something for one's comfort or whatever. So this is dangerous. the Maya is, and the more one advances in devotional service, the more subtle Maya becomes. That he knows the tricks. But what's the protection against Maya? Guru Maharaj said, yeah, that his protection is association of devotees. If you have one stick, easy to break, but when you are together in devotion service, in the morning program and serve together, difficult to break. Association in devotees, with devotees. That living in association with devotees is our protection factor. So it's also a form of Krishna's protection. Prabhupada gave us ISKCON because he knew without this movement, we cannot be protected by Maya. That it's not possible. Therefore, we must come together. We must have sanghas together very regularly, discussing Prabhupada's books and how to advance in devotional service. Form small groups in which we discuss Krishna's, in which we discuss how to advance in devotional service, how to understand Srila Prabhupada's books. And this constant engagement in devotional service is our protection. It should become uninterrupted. So yes, surely. But it comes to the same point of the Sharanagati, understanding what's favorable for devotional service and accepting that and rejecting what's unfavorable. That unfavorable is association of devotees and engaging in the 5 most powerful processes of devotional service: hearing Bhagavatam, association with devotees, chanting Hare Krishna, worship the deity, that yes, and living in a holy place. Turn your place into a temple. And that is our protection. And understanding Krishna is our only maintainer. It is not that Krishna does not reciprocate with us if we are not yet pure devotees. But what's important is we must have a pure motivation, the motivation to become pure. If that's not there, then it will be difficult. But we must have the motivation to become pure. And Jaldi, by the process of Vaidasana Bhakti, we come to realize Krishna is my only maintainer and my protector. That's the process of devotion service.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Very Krishna. Good. Anyone else? Good. Thank you. Then I'm looking forward to see you next week, same time if Krishna willing. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.
Thank you.